What's up, everybody? Okay, I'm assuming you can hear me. Yeah, y'all can hear me. What's up, everybody out there, YouTube world, Facebook, wherever the hell you're going to see this from my website, however that goes down. Today, I want to talk about the asteroid Atlantis, the Lion's Gate that's coming up here in August, and Venus in retrograde that started today. And goes for the next 4 months up until I believe, let me see, like towards the end of October, and then she goes direct. I say she because Venus is a female frequency. Don't quote me on the dates, but I know it's in October that she decides to go direct, and she will still be in shadow for about 2 weeks, give or take 1 or 2 weeks after this. But we're really going to feel it more so in the late summer, early autumn times. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so let's start with Asteroid Atlantis. It's number 1198 in astrology world. There's over 40,000 asteroids, give or take. I might know about 100 of them, not off the top of my head. There's a few that I know on my fingertips, but that's really about it, because it's as one of these prominent astrologers says that I watch, Lunatic Astrology, Lori is her name. She calls it the devil's in the details. And I like that because it's almost like a very, microscopic view of someone's, personality components, behavioral components, things of that nature in regards to their astrological imprint, their energy, according to their chart, And so I have started getting into asteroids more and kind of plugging them in when I'm doing personal readings, because again, it gives me these very deep details. It's almost like an eagle's eye that kind of zooms in, and that's what these asteroids do for us as a collective. They were the asteroid belt, if I can remember correctly, was discovered in the 1800s. Is it? Let me look real quick, but nonetheless, it's very recent in comparison to how long we've actually been in civilization, or as a civilization, over and over again. I just kind of believe it's a wheel and it repeats. I don't believe necessarily in a beginning or end. I look at that more so of the ages that begin and end as we move from constellation to constellation to constellation from our vantage point. But let me see. Asteroids discovered. Let's see. See what Google gives me, because sometimes it's like all over the place. Oh, sorry. So European Space Agency indicates that there's 30,000 asteroids that are near the Earth. But I believe we know about 40,000 of them. And most of these asteroids were discovered in like the 1800s. So I was correct. And a lot of them too, like in the 1900s, or even until today, we are discovering things out there all the time as consciousness and grows and moves progressively forward, or evolves. We too evolve here on Earth, so just like that's the macrocosm and this is the microcosm, right? So it's a mirror reflection. Anyway, so let's get into Atlantis. So personally in my chart, what made me get involved in asteroids more was someone was talking about, besides Lori's interpretation of asteroids, the astrologer that I watch and that I'm learning from, but someone in one of the groups that I'm in was also talking about Atlantis times, and it just keeps popping up for me a lot. So I was like, all right, let me put in this asteroid in my chart and let's see where it falls so I can see if it's prevalent. The asteroid Atlantis represents an era, and it represents a lost civilization, a city or world, and it is indicative of Atlantean DNA as well. So I'm like, let me plug it in and let me see if it's, prevalent. And what I mean by prevalent is if it really shows up in your chart for you as a DNA aspect, and you would figure this out by it being either in the first house, because that's your physical embodiment, Your 12th house, which is your past life, so it can indicate you were there in another life as well. Um, your 4th house, because it's your roots, and your 8th house, because it's your psychological trauma, as well as where we go to deal with the mucky things of death or the shadow side. So that would be prevalent as well too, because they all trine into past life houses, the 12th and the 4th. They all kind of trine each other. They're water houses. So water holds memory, and this is where you can really have a close connection. Now, I think it's more prevalent if it's on a specific planet, more so personal planets. So for instance, the sun, the moon, and your Mars. And I would actually want to add in Pluto here. I know that sounds crazy, but Pluto deals with transformation and psychological transformation, which is tied to past lives as well. And dying in the ashes and rising up as the phoenix. So because it rules over death and life and rebirth, I would think that if you had this asteroid as well conjunct to Pluto, or in some major aspect that is, a trine or even opposition or whatnot, you could have been in the Atlantis times. Now, I also read that the 1980s, 1990s, and the 2000 babies, which would be like millennials and whatever all these generations are called. I call them the Pluto, Sagittarius, and Capricorn era, as well as the Aquarius, excuse me, Aquarius babies being born now are tied into this era, because Aquarius energy is also very progressive and futuristic. It's ruled by Uranus, which is also indicative of Atlantis connection. It is using the higher mind. And when we are, our ancestors were in Atlantis times, the city was the Crystal City. It was a very highly evolved world that dealt with using crystals as our power, our electrical, and traveling as well. There's these theories that in this world we would travel inside crystals and teleport to different dimensions or worlds or whatnot. So I'm just going to read from my notes so we can kind of denote more so what Atlantis represents. So Atlantis in your natal chart is some keywords for it is lost city, world, civilizations, sensing a spiritual side to oneself, Atlantis lifeline, and past life, as well as Atlantean DNA, ancestors, crystal skills, extraterrestrials, new age groups. And then so the positive side of this asteroid is use of technology, and this is where Aquarius comes in the age that we are now in, the age of Aquarius. And then we're looking at what other positives, knowledge and psychic abilities, because in those times that we were using our higher mind, which is the cerebrum. I can't say that right. I feel like the animalistic mind is in the lower aspect of the cerebellum inside the brain. So when we're using the higher mind, the cerebrum, we can access psychic abilities and knowledge that is otherworldly at higher frequencies. And Aquarius age actually represents vibrations. Uranus represents the progressive era, and literally physical vibrations, electricity. So, and we are electrical beings. We have electromagnetic auric field around us. So understanding that, and being that we are in this age now, and we have 2,600 years of being in the sign or constellation of Aquarius, we're going to be dealing with a lot of vibrational stuff. And so humanity each person is going to have this freedom to choose what vibration they're on. So you can be in the cerebellum and the lower vibrations fields and deal with the chaos of the world, or you can vibrate higher. And this is where a lot of people in the spiritual world, you'll hear them say like humanity's being split. And it is so in a sense as well, but it's also more so a vibrational thing. What level are you vibrating at? And this is all an inner work. So you have the freedom to choose how you want to perceive the next era that we're coming into, and how you are going to have that autonomy to control your life and the stuff around you that happens. So going back to the positives of this, so understanding that we can deal with psychic abilities, we have all these types of clairvoyance and clairsentience or cognizance, whatever. We have so many different levels of it: telepathy, telekinesis, and these things can start to activate the higher that you vibrate up. But the negative side of this asteroid represents the fall of Atlantis, earthquakes and tsunamis, abuse of technology, anxiety of the fall of own civilization, abuse of trust, abilities and inside information, sense of impending doom, which is why I say the 1980s babies, specifically from 1983 to 92 or 94, I can't remember exactly how long, that era is Scorpio Pluto generation. And they deal with a lot of, I am a Pluto Scorpio generation, and our era deals a lot with feeling this impending doom, because our memories, our DNA memory is still tied to the times of Atlantis when that civilization fell and we fell with it. There's nothing new under the sun, right? That's a Bible verse. That's a very prevalent analogy used in the world for meaning that things repeat. You'll hear the saying history repeats itself, and it does. And so when you're an astrologer, we take that information from history and we line it up to see what era we're in, what's going on. And so we're understanding that we are now in this AI age, and AI, it's technology, it's not new. Everything that we're being introduced is actually has been here before. And so we have a natural vibrational frequency with it. And we understand that that was a time of the golden age. And we're actually heading towards that. However, we are in that tail end of that Pisces area. So we still dealing with the deception and the disillusionment of the fantasies and the fairy tales that we were under, that Neptunian kind of veil, in the Pisces era, which is where religion came from and all of these, theological studies. So we are still dealing with that lower aspect of things and that vibrational world of that indoctrination. And so, like I said, Scorpio Pluto era is dealing with that impending doom. And then we have the Sagittarius era, which is the centaurs, the asteroid. They have a higher attunement, a wisdom that is otherworldly. And if you look at the Sagittarius Pluto era babies, my oldest daughter is one. They're very carefree. They're very adventurous seeking. They're not afraid to test the waters. And the 80s babies, my era, we were the first ones to change the mold, to start getting the hell out of religion, to start calling shit out, because we're Pluto. We uncover the hidden. And so Sagittarius takes it up a notch to a higher consciousness, and understanding the dark side could be used for a sense of enlightenment. And we see that when we move into the Capricorn babies as well. They are trying to create a new systematic reality around systems. The systems are falling, they're collapsing, right? Especially right now with Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, we're going through the last phases of that. And then Pluto will go direct into Aquarius, and it's gonna be there 20 years. So it's a 20-year new development, a new cleaning out, a new transformation, a new vibrational transformation for the collective consciousness, collective community. Aquarius rules the 11th house of the collective consciousness and community. So the negatives of this asteroid also is abuse of trust, or abuses of trust, sorry. Abilities and inside information, as I said, the sense of impending doom. And so then there's also a neutral vibration. And all of this is indicative in your chart, but it's really dependent. It's dependent on aspects, like what it's aspecting, the angles, what degrees it's hitting, where it's at in your astrology. So this can be very prevalent for some, not so much for others. And, you might have that sense of feeling like you're from somewhere else. A lot of the Atlantis DNA babies feel that way. So neutral would be interest in astrology and numerology, crystals, natural spiritual healing, and occult knowledge, chakras, and star seeds. So I inputted this on astro.com. If you don't have an astrology chart, I recommend astro.com. They are a wonderful free service where you can input your information, time of birth, place of birth, so on and so forth, your birthday, and get your chart, created for you, and really punch in asteroids and what not. At least that gives you a start, and then you can like Google things. But if you want a more professional touch, I also do astrology readings for a living. All of my information is in the description box below. But we can go in deeper. But this is where I go to like input my stuff. I have my own software system, but I use astro.com. It's a great service. Anyways, so I put this asteroid into my chart, and mine is in the 6th house at 28 degrees in Leo. And I'm a Leo moon. So this is very close to my internal world. Moon can represent where souls are being held as well. It's Cancer, rules of the mother, the nurturer. And it's the mirror of where we cycle, as it reflects from Saturn. When Saturn represents the karma and your time is up, it rules over matter, our physical bodies. And this is where we recycle. And this is a little bit deeper. You have to go deeper into the occult studies with that, but I'll make a video on that another time, how the souls reincarnate. But so I have that in my house where the moon is, and my in 6th house in astrology is your service to others. It is also your work in this lifetime and your conscious mind. It sits in a cross axis to its opposite house, which is 12th. In natal astrology, natural astrology, or whatever, Virgo rules this house. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind and learning and communicating. And so I have Leo here, which is very regal. And I have this at 28 degrees, and I believe the fixed star regal sits here. So I know that I was a very leader type regal person in another life because of my moon, also in Leo, in an opposite from my past life house, my 12th house. And then it's actually opposite my natal Mars, which is my physical embodiment, in my past life house. So I'm very tied to my past lives. And this is how I'm able to kind of dig up this information naturally. I'm attuned to it because it's in Aquarius. So it's a vibrational thing, a higher conscious thing that kind of just comes to me. So I get curious, and I punched in this asteroid, and this is where it gives me, right? But it's also on another asteroid for me, which is Urania, which actually rules astrology. And so here I am doing this service to humanity in my workhouse for others, teaching this in a communicative style and way. And just having that natural ability, and having it in opposition to Mars can, in my secret enemy's house, I do have, that's the negative side of it, is that impending doom, feeling it in my physical body. And so that's like what I wanted to bring up about Atlantis. So we can actually move into Venus retrograde. Actually, before we do that, let's go back and talk about the Lionsgate portal. So for all the Atlantis babies, and for those that have their Atlantis asteroid in Leo, we were leaders. We were very regal. We were performers in center stage in the Atlantis era, and we were noble. And so I have that on my moon. So it's an inherited memory for me. And if for those of you that have that, if you want to figure it out, book a reading with me, whatever, or go to astro.com and just punch it in. It's asteroid 1198. But this Lionsgate coming up, August 8th, is it happens every year, and this is a portal to be able to attune to these higher vibrations and frequency and open up your heart center, because Leo rules the heart in astrology and in even in biology, if you want to get into medical astrology. But it rules the heart, and it helps you to open up that chakra. The heart chakra is Yam, I believe. Can't say that name, Anahata. But it represents love, and it represents attuning your electromagnetic frequency to that higher vibration. So that is coming up on August 8th. And I bring that up because Venus is retrograde, as of today, in this sign in Leo. And she's also retrograde on Black Moon Lilith. Ironically, let me see. I think it's at the exact degree. Let me look at it up real quick. 1 second, guys. But we just had a new moon in Cancer yesterday, which is funny because now we have the moon in Leo as well, which is another reason why I brought this up, because of this new moon frequency as it moves into Leo. It's starting this, Leo, you're the star of the show this next 4 months, let's be real, but also next month, at the end of this month and next month, there is a higher attunement into love that we can tap into if we decide to go through this portal by doing a lot of shamanistic rituals or meditation, working with crystals, sound therapy using binaural beats, which is for frequencies to help level the vibrational auric field in your body. But let me see. Is it Lilith or Black Moon Lilith? I think it's just Lilith. It's Black Moon Lilith, yeah. And she's at 21 degrees. And Venus just went retrograde at 28 degrees. So they're conjunct at a 7-degree orb. And this is beautiful because we're going to have the sun in Leo later on this week too. So we have so much energy in Leo right now. So for people that have Leo energy, this is a call to be bold and work within your heart center, and know that the light is shining on you, because there's these portals for leadership and opportunities to open up. This is also very big for Aquarius people, as it's opposite for them. So Aquarius rising, Leo risings, fixed signs in particular, Scorpio and Taurus as well, because they are in 90-degree angles or 180 degrees. So regardless if they're in power struggle or not, this is a good chance to work through that and upgrade. And we just had the nodes shift as well, I believe yesterday, to the North Node is now in Aries and the South Node is in Libra. So Venus rules Libra, it rules Taurus, it rules Libra. So you can even include Aries and Libra people in here, that this is a call to be bold, to work from your heart center, to have enough confidence to put yourself out there, and find what it is that you want to leave for humanity and leave your mark on the world, because this is a call to that. We are moving into this very fast too. Like, we're in the Aquarius age, so time is speeding up, and we are moving into this era of this AI time. And if we want these things to not repeat and end up going through the same cycles that the Atlantis era civilization and world went through, that was their demise. Technology was their demise. And so we need to step up and get into harmony with the vibrations around us, so that we don't fall subjective to the dark arts or the elites, or whatever you want to call them. Everybody has different names for them, but whoever is running the show out here, I do believe in Draco reptilians. I do believe in a lot of star seeds, because I can see it in the astrology charts. And I understand that the DNA in human development isn't just because of humans. There are other beings on Earth in other astral realms, vibrational frequencies, worlds, that are around us, that are very prevalent, and they have helped to develop humanity and humans, when we are going into astrotheology or anthropology, and learning all of the how DNA works and evolution. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I hope this video was interesting. I hope you guys got something out of this. Again, if you want to go deeper, my website and link, apps are below as well. You can book a reading with me, watch some other podcasts on there, whatever. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll be doing another one of these videos soon.